This is the story behind a song that we just collaborated on.
Yes, it
Do you want
is.
to take it from here?
It's a song called Cry, and I wrote it in a session with a French producer, Michael Mali, who's great, and another singer-songwriter, Rachel Rabin. And it was a very personal breakup song for me. We were getting in our feels now, shooting the video. It remains a very, very personal song that makes me feel very acutely, and I think it's it's about that dynamic when you leave someone behind and care very much, and you're craving their caring more, and they just don't seem to. And it's interesting because it wasn't written as a duet. It was written from the perspective of only one side of that relationship. And when Leigh and I got to talking about doing something, and she heard my old demo of it, and then we went back and forth with voice memos of her singing it. First of all, she's just a performer I've admired so much for so long. I've spent so many years covering both her solo stuff and Sixpence stuff. So it was an honor to hear her take on a song I'd written. But also she brought an emotional depth to it and took some of the lyrics in different places than I would have. And when we decided to make it a duet, which was another layer of excitement and honor for me, like what a cool thing to have me on it. It's I'm grateful. And then the story changed, right, to accommodate that, because now it's, depending on how you look at it, either about two people who both feel like the other person isn't giving enough, isn't honoring the relationship that came before enough. And maybe if you read it that way, they're both just putting on a piece of theater about not caring for each other. Or, we were talking about this on set yesterday while doing the video. One way I think I choose to read it, which is a little darker, is like, I start the song, I talk about you not caring and me caring profoundly. And like, there's anger in it too. It's like, why the F don't you care, you know? And how could you be so superficial? And then when you come in, it's almost, in my mind, like, that's the fantasy we have in that situation, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, what if they do care?
Right.
But they probably don't.
That's a really good point. I actually hadn't thought about that. I felt more when we were doing the video. I always like to be a protector or somebody that helps, an emotional Sherpa. Yeah, getting that, when we followed each other on Instagram for a long time, and I've been such a huge fan. And so I was completely shocked that he was open to this one was open to doing this with me.
I'd follow this lady off a cliff, honestly. Is there one
So
nearby?
that's what, let's do it.
Next.
That's next. That's this afternoon.
And the song, I think maybe we did go off a cliff emotionally together.
Yeah, I think, basically that is, musically we jumped off a cliff.
We jumped off a music cliff.
And it's exciting. I'm so excited for you. And I think he's like the bravest person in the world to do all that he already does in a completely different space, and then be willing to kind of wade into these waters and do it so beautifully.
Well, it's a thing that I've done for years without figuring out exactly what to do with it. And it's, first of all, surreal to have material that I wrote that was sitting on a shelf, find its way into the hands of an artist I really admire. And second of all, it's a catalyst for me, because like that's one of the few contexts in which I couldn't argue with doing it.
Right.
Like I love your work. I want to honor your work in any way I can.
Likewise, which I really don't know how I could, but I read it.
Well, I think we're honoring each other's work right now. We're telling each other's stories.
Yes, absolutely. That's what it's all about.
I'm excited for
Congratulations to us.
Congratulations.
Let's go find a cliff.
Yeah,
we're gonna shake
we're off to a cliff.
Do a cliff.
Thanks, friend.